Hello, my name is Jimmy Vegas and welcome to this, the third in a mini-series of video tutorials on how to create an island landscape in Unity 5. So if you remember, in the last episode we focused on creating these little extrudes from the ground, the kind of rocky looking things, as well as inputting our water. So this episode we're going to add to that yet again. So last episode we imported some standard assets. Down here, which was the environment, we imported the water. At the same time, we imported speed tree to save a little bit of time in this episode. So this time, we want to put in our environment and to speed tree and to palm, you'll notice all these little colourful images down here. They look kind of like a palm tree, is this one. So you need to drag and drop this particular palm tree anywhere in your game where you have an island. So I'm going to stick it right there. If we double click, we will zoom in. We'll focus in. So we'll go over here, and as soon as we're zoomed in, we will let's see. Let's move it around first. Let's have a quick look. We don't need to worry too much about it because the tree is already built for within Unity, which is kind of convenient. Let's change the scale to 2 by 2 by 2. We've got a big looking tree there, so it doesn't look too bad. So the LOD, the level of detail, changes as we zoom in and out. We don't need to worry too much about that at all in this tutorial. It's not extremely important. So all we need to do is hold Control, press D, and we duplicate. Let's drag it out this way and over here. Let's make this a normal size tree, which is what it originally was. So 1 by 1 by 1. You could effectively cover your island with all these trees if you wanted to. There's no limit on what you can do. So I'm going to make another small island just over here. So if you remember how to do that, you just need to go onto your world, which is your terrain. You need to go over here to this first option, which is raise lower terrain, and let's click this one just here, and let's raise some of our terrain over here just by clicking the mouse, if you remember. So that looks that's okay, a bit more there. So we need to go now to this, which is the smooth height, and let's smooth all of our little island. So if you remember how to do that, it is just a case of holding your mouse button down, and let's just go over and over and over and over and over, make it nice and smooth. And then this option here, we just need to go down to here, pick our sand, and then let's cover this island with sand. Makes it just that little bit better. So once we have that all done, we take one of our trees and place it on this island. So let's take this larger tree and hold Control, press D, duplicate as always, and let's drag it over to our island over here. So let's get it in position somewhat there. That looks like it's in mid-air. Yes, it is. So we just need to drag it this way a little more and drag it up to about there. So now we have a tree on our little island. So let's move ourselves around just a little more. So you'll notice the sky over here is just kind of blue. By default, Unity 5 brings in the blue kind of sky. So we want to kind of create something a little more sky-like, rather than having the plain old boring blue. So you go to Window here, and you can click Asset Store, or you can hold Control and press number 9. This will load up the Asset Store. So the Asset Store is something which you can go into and you can either get for free or you can pay for assets. With this tutorial being free, we won't be paying for anything. So if you go here and type in, let's type in, first you have to log in, my bad. So if you go over here and type in skybox, hit enter, and you'll be presented with a couple of results. As you can see, some of them you have to pay for $5, $10, $1.95, don't worry about them. We won't be going for them just yet. If you click price here, it will rearrange everything by price. So you can see everything at the top now are the ones which are free. So feel free to choose any one of these skyboxes, a reasonable one at least. But I'm going to go with this one, Classic Skybox, made by this guy right here. So credit obviously goes to him. So if you click on it, and it loads up a new page in the asset store, Classic Skybox. Yeah, you just need to import it from here or download, whichever option this button says. Just click it and it will import it into Unity, obviously being free. And once it's done, you can just close the asset store. And then over here in your assets window, you'll see Classic Skybox has been imported. You'll have all these options down here, all the folders, all these images. Don't need to worry about them too much. Just go to Window, and then down at the bottom you have Lighting. And over here you have an option called Skybox. Currently set to default Skybox, which is this blue, which we don't want. So click this button here, and then scroll up to where all your skyboxes are. And then, let's pick one of these skyboxes. Let's pick an absolute random one. How about number 9? So double click, it goes in, and you can see you now have the sky where the blue once was, and it also reflects on your water, which is convenient. So if we press play now, you can see, hopefully, and it loads. Taking a little bit of time there. Oh, it's because we have 2 jobs running in the background. Okay, not to worry. So yes, we have blue sky now, and you can see it reflecting on the water, but we're far away from everything. So our next thing that we need to do is we need to bring in a character or some form of controller closer to the action which we've built. In this case, the islands and the trees. So you need to go here in your asset window, right click, go to import package, and the one we want is just here, and it's called characters. So if you click this, again, same as last episode, you have this little box up here saying decompressing. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time. Don't worry about it too much. In this case, because we have 2 jobs running in the background, well, Unity's run 2 jobs in the background, it may take a bit longer. So that one is usually pretty quick. You'll be presented with the import package window. Just click on import. So as soon as that's been clicked, there we go, bit of a freeze there. So as soon as that's been clicked, as I say, it will bring up this just here, telling you to hold on, we're importing all your scripts and assets. Here you notice it says Ethan Normals. Ethan is actually the 3rd person character. We'll deal with him in a couple of minutes when this is imported. Okay, so we're nearly there with the importing now. It's pretty quick, to be honest. Just a couple more, and there we go. Everything has imported nicely into our game. So to see this, we go to Standard Assets, just here. You'll notice this extra folder here called Characters. So let's go down to it, and you'll notice a few different options or folders within the characters. We don't need to worry about a couple of them. They're not important for this. So first off, let's go to 3rd person, and then let's go to Prefabs, and drag and drop this second one into your game, which is a 3rd person controller prefab. So we can see our controller over there, but if we press play at the moment, we can see that our camera is still miles away from anywhere. We can't really see what's going on. So we need to adjust that by dragging the main camera onto our 3rd person controller. This creates a parent and child. The child is the camera and the parent is the 3rd person controller. So now we need to zero out the position, which drags, or rather positions, our main camera in dead center of our 3rd person controller. And then we just need to manually adjust where we want to have our camera. So about there. And then I want to rotate on the x-axis by maybe about 10. No, not quite enough. 15. Okay, that looks better. So now when we press play, we should be able to control our character running around our island. And as you can see, the camera follows him quite nicely. So let's run around a little more around our island. Yep, I can't see any problems with that. It seems fine. Okay, so once we've got that, we can also put in a first-person controller. So if we go to the prefabs of it and drag and drop the first one in here, he's stuck in the ground a bit there. Let's raise him up. Okay, so that should do about there. So also the camera is in the first-person controller. So we need to go to third-person controller, and over here we need to disable it. As I say, the first-person controller has a camera built in. We don't need to worry about this one. So click first-person controller. As you can see, all there, looks good. And just check, yeah, that's fine. So let's press play. And now we can run around our island in the first-person view. As you can see, our third person has disappeared, which is perfect. So if we want the other way around, we can disable the first person controller and re-enable the third person controller. And now, when we press play, we've got our third person controller back. So let's see what happens when we have both enabled at the same time. You end up in the first person controller because that one defaults as the main camera. But you can also see here the third person is still being controlled by you. So whichever way you press on your WASD keys, he still appears right there. So let's see. I want to have the third person controller as my default option, I think. So I'm going to delete the first person controller and just have my third person controller. Okay, so that is the end of this episode. Next episode, I think we're going to be looking at more importing a few things. It will be the last episode. So thank you very much for watching and see you next time.